7th Annual Apprenticeship Open House. My name is Victor Cerrone, and I'm an assistant coordinator for the Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council Apprentice and Training Program in Elk Grove Village. Now, the presentation is going to be all PowerPoint. I'm going to talk about what being in the union means, what it takes to be a great carpenter, some of the curriculums that we have here at the training center, how to apply for the apprenticeship, the time to apply for the apprenticeship, and also the different times that the date that you will, not actual date, but the time next year that you're able to come in and apply for the apprenticeship. So I'm going to hop right into the PowerPoint. Can you all see that that first slide? It says, welcome to the 7th Annual Apprenticeship Open House.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Good.
Hi, Victor. This is Mark Berg. Quick question. Will you be sharing these slides or should we be taking notes? Are you able to share the slides?
You mean send them to you? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, to the folks that got the email for the Zoom. Are you able to share the slides or I mean, I'm happy to take notes too, but I just wanted to see it might be easier if it's information you can share, if it's privileged.
I would have to check that with my boss, actually, and then I will let you know.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so what is a union? A lot of people don't know what being part of a union is. And what that is a group of organized workers. They come together, unite, and make decisions that will affect their working conditions, how they get paid, time and a half over 8 hours for us. Anything after 10 hours is going to be double time. We fight for better benefits, the benefits that we have, medical benefits, pension, annuity, and also to have a job, a voice on the job. It's always good to have a voice on the job because you know, you're a union member, you pay your union dues, so you are part of that whole brotherhood. And how those decisions come about are through the local unions. We hold elections, and there's officers who make those decisions in behalf of all the members throughout the locals, throughout the regional council. So being part of the union, the difference between union and non-union is education and training. We give training for all apprentices that come through the training center. The more training you have, the more skilled you're going to be, the more employable you're going to be. You're more employable, that translates to the kind of money that you could be making year to year to year. The more hours you put into your working for your contractor also translates into the benefits that you'll have and how good of a benefit pension you have when you retire. And that also gives you an opportunity to advance on the job. You know, you start off as a pre-apprentice, you go out as an apprentice, you move on to second year, third year, fourth year. Eventually, you're going to move on and become a journeyman. And if that's not good enough for some people, they want to be foremen, superintendents, and there's definitely an opportunity for that in our education. Throughout the United Brotherhood of Carpenters, we're always looking to improve safety, how to keep the workers safe out on the job site. And that comes through high quality training to be more productive on the job. That saying that time is money, it definitely is. We got to make the time. We got to put a good quality product out, whether it's a house, a building, a bridge, a hospital, a school. So the union, through the training, When you put it all together, we got workers out in the field working safely. At the end of the day, you step back and you see what you have built, and you go home to your family, and then you go at it the following day.
What does it cost to go through all that training?
Well, I'm going to get into all that. All those slides are coming in. I'm trying to keep track of all these people also that are trying to get in. So forgive me if I pause for a little bit, because I have to let all these people in that are requesting to get into the into this presentation here. So yeah, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about the cost and all that good stuff. But what does it take to be a successful carpenter? That is the question. And one of the things we emphasize is math. Math is the language of a carpenter. You also have to pass a math test in order to get into the apprenticeship. There's an aptitude test you have to take that includes math, and that it includes reading comprehension. And the math I'm talking about is basically 7th to 8th grade math, adding, subtracting, multiplying, decimals, fractions, things like that, algebra, a little geometry, but it's not really that tough. If you're coming fresh out of high school, all that math that you have learned, it's fresh in your memory, so you should have no problems passing that that math test. And again, that is our language, and that can limit you how you advance in your whole career. If you think that math is not your strongest suit, and we get that throughout from the apprentices. Math is not for me. I hate math. The only reason people hate math is because they don't practice it long enough and they give up too quickly. That's the only reason. But every time you come to class, we hit, there's always going to be math. And also reading skills. Again, you have to pass a reading comprehension test to get into the apprenticeship. So as you come through the apprenticeship, you get a chance to start reading blueprints. The blueprints, you have specifications for more information that relate to the prints. And then you have schedules, whether it be door schedules and things like that. And then details about the fine little things that you find that make that house complete or that building complete. And you have to connect them all together. So you have to know how to read the drawing itself, read the specifications, schedules, and details. So then again, you can put that structure together. So you definitely need that. Now, one of the biggest things that I want to emphasize and the skills that you need in order to become a lasting carpenter, not a carpenter that applies, not an apprentice that applies for the apprenticeship and you last a few years and you decide that it's just not going to be for you because it's too tough for you. All right, you have to be physically fit to work as a carpenter, and I'm talking about not only physically fit, but waking up early in the morning, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, to start at 6, depending on the time of year. And from either 6 on or 7 on, sometimes you are not literally running, but you're running. You're getting out of the vehicle. You have to be there early, half hour early is being on time. That is the law that you have to live by. You get there within time to get yourself ready mentally, but the physical part is probably 80 to 90% physical. Any trade that you talk to, anybody that you talk to that's in the trades, whether it's carpenters or any other trade, it is physical. And one of the reasons and the major reason why people give up on this coming through our pre-apprenticeship and our apprenticeship is that it is too hard physically for them. And that is because they did not research what it takes to make it through the pre-apprenticeship and the apprenticeship. And I'll go into our website and I can show you some of the things that you all should read if you are really interested and get into the apprenticeship. You have to have good coordination, swinging a hammer, swinging a maw, using a screw gun and things like that. You just got to have good mechanics. Working at high levels, if you're scared of heights, this might not be for you because you're going to be working on scaffolding at one time or another on top of a roof. So you have to know how to keep that balance together. And also, how do you communicate? How do you receive instruction and how do you give instruction And how do you understand that in order to work as a team member? That is also a huge part, especially if you're coming out just out of high school. Sometimes uh, the people that I talk to, the young people at high schools, they're kind of stuck in their shell, and you really have to come out and express yourself, because that is what it takes to be in the trades. So these are the apprenticeships that we offer. General carpentry is really broken into two. You have the general curriculum, and that's basically, if you choose that, that's basically wood framing, like residential framing, stairs, rafters, anything that relates to wood framing. And then you have interior systems, anything you find inside of commercial buildings, light gauge metal stud framing, drywall, acoustical ceilings, heavy gauge. And then you have the flooring. That curriculum is strictly flooring, and you're going to be working as a floor cover out in the field. You could be putting down either hardwood, vinyl, VCTs, carpet, and things like that. A mill cabinet, the mill cabinet apprenticeship. Typically, the guys that are the people that make it through the mill cabinet, they go out and work in a shop, manufacturing the cabinets, and your typical carpenter will install them out in the field. Then we have the concrete curriculum. So that would be residential, commercial, bridge work, high rise. So as a carpenter, you put forms together, and either laborers, finishers, they pour the concrete, and then iron workers tie the steel, but we actually get to put up the forms. And then you have the millwrights. Millwrights work on machinery, conveyor belts, turbines, kind of like a machinist slash carpenter. They're not your typical pouch wearing, swinging a hammer all day type of carpenter. And then pile driver. Pile drivers work with deep foundations. Any high rise you see, any bridge you see, they're sitting on piles or caissons. The pile driver, all that is a kind of like a huge concrete post that's dug into the ground far enough down so it holds the weight of the structure, and they could be a few piles or a few hundred or a few thousand piles depending on the size of the structure, the bridge, or the high rise. So that is the apprenticeship that we offer at our training center. Now the pre-apprenticeship is offered through the general carpentry, concrete form builders, and the mill cabinet. So how it works, you apply for the apprenticeship, you take the test, you pass the test, and then you get called in for a 9-week pre-apprenticeship class. And that's every single day from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm telling you, man, we really put it to you the first week. We actually give you 2 weeks to make it through the 9-week pre-apprenticeship, because we know that people that come through this weren't ready to come through the pre-apprenticeship. And that's what you see on PowerPoint here on the slide. We have the pre-apprentices exercise first thing in the morning for right around half an hour to 45 minutes. And I'm talking about your typical workout, all body weight, push-ups, jumping jacks, squats. And then after that, we have them work in the back and show them how to carry material safely. We show them the technique. We start off light, and every week it gets a little heavier and heavier and heavier. We show them how to carry drywall, 2x4, 2x4s, planks, 2x6s, plywood, concrete forms. So you have to have the strength in order to last when you become a first-year apprentice. And the reason we do that is because when you become a first-year apprentice, that's basically what you're going to be doing for the first part of your first-year apprenticeship out in the field. You will be sort of like a gopher. You'll be carrying material for people that have been there longer, they're putting stuff together. So if you hustle and hurry up and get it done, they're going to have to teach you, and eventually you're the one that's going to be putting stuff together. And the newer people that come out of the pre-apprenticeship will haul material for you. But that's the reason we do all the exercising and the material handling and things like that. Don't get me wrong. After that, we spend time in the classroom going over related stuff, math. So it's basically 1/3 of the time it's going to be in the classroom, and 2/3 it's going to be in the shop. So there's a lot of time spent in the shop, and we start from the basics: how to read a tape measure, how to swing a hammer, how to use a level correctly, how to put your pouches on correctly, how to put the tools in your pouches where they belong so you know where they're at every single time you grab a tape measure, how to talk like a carpenter, walk like a carpenter, hustle like a carpenter, so we know that you are going to make it. If you don't buy into the system, you're wasting your time, you're wasting our time, and that's where people either quit or they get let go within the first to 2 weeks, because it is a rough first week that we have the apprentice or the pre-apprentices go through. And it seems to work every time. We have people come out. We get nothing but compliments about how these young apprentices are out there working and hustling and then showing up on time, every single day without missing work. So the system really works. If you choose to be on another apprenticeship, like the flooring, millwrights, pile drivers, for the flooring, you have to be hired by a contractor and serve as a helper for a year. Millwrights, you have to be sponsored by their local 1693 or a contractor. Now, all this information is on the website. And again, I'm going to put up the website once we get done with the PowerPoint. And then the pile drivers, that'll be local 54. You have to get sponsored by them or a contractor. So again, you apply for the apprenticeship, you go through the 9-week, and hopefully you all make it if you come through the apprenticeship through the 9-week. Once you finish the 9 weeks, you get sent out to join a local union and you become a union member. And you're basically working out in the field for 3 months and then coming to school for 1 week. And you do get paid for that time you come in as the first year, second year, and third year apprentice. And you see the stipend that you get in your first year, second year, and your third year. If everything goes to plan, you might have either 1 class in your 4th year, maybe 2, depending if everything goes to schedule, meaning if you have the hours worked out in the field and then classes completed in order to advance from year to year. And that's basically how you advance from 1st to 2nd and so on, having the correct amount of work hours worked out in the field and then coming to school, completing all your classes that you need. Now, I want to back up a little bit to back up through this pre-apprenticeship class here. If you apply for the apprenticeship, if you go through the 9-week program, you get a real small stipend. It's not really a paycheck, okay? So you do have to save in order to come in through the 9 weeks. You get a $35.35 a week paycheck for the first 3 weeks, and then it goes up to $60 a week for the remainder of the 9 weeks. That's basically gas money for some of the people that are coming through the apprenticeship. So that, and I tell everybody that comes through the pre-apprenticeship, now you sacrifice your time, your 9 weeks, you saved. Some of these people have families, they're married, they have kids, they have rent, mortgage, car payments. So they do have to sacrifice. Now, if you sacrifice all of that, you better come in here and give us 120% to make it through the apprenticeship. If you decide to go to school, just like carpentry, school is not for everybody. I'm talking about college or university, and carpentry is not for everybody. But if you decide to go, if you don't have a grant or scholarship, you are going to have to pay some of that money back if you get a loan. Our 4-year apprenticeship, it's tuition free. Yep, tuition free. You do have to come up with approximately $225 for books that you'll first get before you start your pre-apprenticeship. And you also get paid while you're in class. Every class you come back, you get a stipend, and then you get paid out in the field by the contractor when you're out there working every quarter. Now, is it a fact or is it fiction that a new carpenter apprentice starting today will double their salary in 4 years? And that is a fact. It's more than double. Right now, a journeyman scale is $50.86. Now that's on the check. We have an additional $37.88 benefit package that covers our medical, our pension, our annuity, and a few other things that get paid through our benefit package. And that the contractor pays our benefit package. The rate for a first year apprentice is 40% of journeyman scale, $20.34. Second year is 50%, third year is 65, fourth year is 80%. Now, if you look at all these numbers, no raise is less than $5. There's like 5 and change, and then 7 and 7, and the last one is $10. Now, you got to think about this. If you were owner of a company and you were paying them $20 an hour as a first year, and then he moves up to a second year, now you're paying him 25. Should he know more by the time he becomes a second year? How about a third year? Now you're paying him $33, and a fourth year, you're paying him $40. So it's up to every individual that comes through the apprenticeship to be educated, to take extra classes. So when you do become that third year apprentice, that fourth year apprentice, you know you're going to be a keeper. That means that you're going to be called back to work anytime there's layoffs. You're going to be one of the last people laid off. But all the people that are working out there, they get that raise, and the contractor, they expect just that little bit more every single year. You just have to get better. You have to get faster. You have to be smarter, because if you don't, the young people that are coming out, that first year apprentice, might take that job over third year if they're out working that third year. So that's our breakdown in our benefits. It covers health and welfare, covers hospital, doctor visits, dental vision. There's other few other things that it covers that are not on this PowerPoint, and then the annuity, supplemental retirement plan, and then the pension. And then again, the employer pays for all these benefits. Nothing comes out of your check for all these benefits. I did talk about continuing education. The more you know, the more you're going to be worth, not only for yourself, but for your employer. And we stay up with the latest technology, like the robotic total station. We have CAD. Everybody in the school, every apprentice takes welding. They have to have a welding class in order to graduate. And they practice in the virtual welding machine that's up in the classroom. So they work on their technique, their flow. So when they get ready to work, to go down into the shop, they're not wasting all that material. They can practice all that in that virtual welding machine. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity coming to school here. Now, once you become a union member and your union card is current, because we do have to pay union dues to keep that union card current, you can take any class that we offer here. And there's over 250 different classes that anybody can take with a carpenter's union card that's current, and it costs the member nothing, zero. All we have to do is come up with a $25 money order or check. That's a deposit, kind of sort of like to hold our spot. Once we complete that class, you get that check back. So it's going to cost you nothing to take that class. And again, the more tools you have in your toolbox, the more you're going to be worth to your employer, yourself. Everybody starts from the bottom. Every carpenter that you ever will talk to, anybody that's in the trades, they always came from the first, the bottom, which is, basically an apprentice. And then you want to become a lead carpenter or a journeyman / journeyman. Then move on to be a foreman, general foreman, superintendent, project manager, subcontractor, general contractor. And then if you have a vision, you can own your own union company. I know 2 now journeymen that started as pre-apprentices that now own their own company, and they're doing okay as union contractors. So sky's the limit when you're talking about joining our apprenticeship here. It's all up to each individual to just kind of, be satisfied at where you're at. If you're happy just being a journeyman and going home, putting in your 8, and that's fine. But we do need, the general superintendents, project managers, and things like that. So how do you get into the apprenticeship? You do have to be 17 years old to apply, high school diploma or GED, Social Security card, and the big one, physically fit to work as a carpenter. I'm going to stress that over and over again. And you do have to pass still a drug test. You do have to be a resident of these following counties: Cook, DuPage, Grundy, Iroquois, Kane, Kankakee, Kendall, Lake, McHenry, and Will. Have a valid driver's license or state ID. Now, it's not a requirement to have reliable transportation, but we emphasize that you have to have reliable transportation. You have to have a valid driver's license. To start the pre-apprenticeship, you can either take public transportation, Uber, or have somebody drop you off here at the training center. But when you go to work as a first-year apprentice, the first thing they're going to ask you when you apply for a job is, I want to see your driver's license, and do you have a dependable vehicle? They don't want you to depend on mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, Uber, taxi. They want to know that you could get to the job site, not anybody else, right? Because you might be working at 2 different spots in the same day, and they might be, 50, 60 miles away. So you definitely have to have that dependable vehicle. Now, in prior years, one of the requirements was that you needed a letter or sponsorship from a local or a contractor in order to apply for the apprenticeship. But that was waived this year, and as far as we know it, it's still going to be waived for next year's application period. So you do not need a letter of recommendation or sponsorship letter from a local or a contractor. You do need a $25 application fee, money order or cashier's check at the time when you come in and apply. Now, when we do open up for applications, we're not open for applicants all year round. We are going to be accepting applications next year for the concrete form builders, and we do not have a date for that yet. So you do either have to call our office early spring or go to the website, and we'll put it up on the website. We also notify the Department of Employment. We put up ads, newspaper, and we notify all our local unions that we are accepting applications. So you can come in and bring all your requirements and documents. You do have to appear in person. You do have to file in person. Once you do that, you get notified for testing dates and times. So you basically get a date to prep you for the test, and you get another date to actually take the test. All right, so we have people come in here and we prep them, because we know that sometimes they just don't do their diligence to work on their math skills and things like that. So this is our website, www.shicap.org. I'm going to go onto the website here in a minute, but if you click on apprentice program, and this is what I suggest. I know that I got a lot of people listening to me, and again, the number one reason why people do not make it through our apprenticeship is because they did not research enough what it takes to be a carpenter. You have to know this is a tough trade. They weren't ready physically, they weren't ready mentally, so they give up on it. They just don't stay working, because the contractor is not going to put up with you coming in tardy, or showing up to work late, or right at 7 o'clock, calling in every other weekend or every other week, and then just dragging your feet. They don't put up with that. All they do is they call the office and ask for another apprentice, and then until they find that one apprentice that's got that good attitude, that's there early, that's hustling, that's got that get up and go, that's got that work ethic, and they're a sponge and they just want to learn the trade. That's what they're looking for. All right, so you do have to research and read every single tab on the website. All right, that's my advice to anybody that wants to apply. There is a video, how to apply video on the website, and it does mention that letter of recommendation from a local or a contractor, but that was before we waived that. So if you see that, you don't have to have that letter of recommendation. All right, now I want to open it up for questions, but before you all go, I do want to bring up the website though. Do you all have any questions about anything that I talked about? And I'm trying to open up the chat here.
Yeah, I do have a question. You had mentioned there's a few areas that the pre-apprenticeship offers. Do they offer all, or does one choose?
You choose which curriculum you want to pick, which
Okay.
apprenticeship you want to go through. If you want to be in the flooring curriculum, that's what you're going to have to chase. In other words, you have to go to the website, you have to find the local for the flooring, and you have to contact them, and then you talk to them how to become a helper. For example, if you want to become one of the general construction, you apply for the apprenticeship, you go through your 9-week training, and then you go out as a first-year apprentice.
Thank you.
Sure. Now, I know I have, how many people are out there? 33? I gotta have more questions.
What level of reading is required? I know you mentioned the math level.
The reading, I can't really tell you exactly, and it's, basically the same thing, 7th, 8th, 9th grade reading level. It's not nothing. It's just something that you have to read. You have to comprehend what you're reading, and then you have to answer a few questions about the paragraph that you're reading about, So it's not really that tough.
You said that we'll be able to apply for the pre-apprenticeship later in the year. Is there a possibility that some of us don't make or aren't chosen? Is there a waiting list for the following year or anytime after that sooner?
Okay, so how it works is that you apply for the apprenticeship, and you come in and take your test, and then it's pretty much a lottery after that. So they just draw names from the people that actually pass the test, and that's how you get called to start your pre-apprenticeship. If you don't get called, for the first couple classes, that means that your name hasn't been picked yet. So, you have to just be patient and wait, and get ready. That's the thing that I tell every single person that wants to apply. Get ready for this. You don't have to be a gym rat, but you have to have some kind of physical activity, regardless of being in the trades or not, just to keep yourself healthy. I know that people are young, and sometimes they think that they don't need it, but it's a different muscle that we use when we work as a carpenter. We're not bench pressing 200 pounds and squatting and things like that. We use those little muscles that it takes to get that grip going, your shoulder strength, your forearm strength. So it does take some effort in somebody to get ready. And again, in the math skills also. I am going to put up the website. Where is that? Let's see, hold on.
I have I guess one more question in choosing, I guess, a specialization. So say, I choose general carpentry. Is that set in stone, I guess, for the duration of the pre-apprenticeship, or if, I have a change of heart in mind, would concrete work, be a possibility?
There is a possibility, but the further you go into your apprenticeship, the less opportunity it is for you to start another one. Because if you start another curriculum, you got to start from scratch. In other words, you know what I mean? You're going to have to start as the first year apprentice. If you're a third year and you want to, let's say you pick flooring, and then you want to go to the general, but now you're in your third year in your flooring. Well, now if our director approves it, you're going to have to start as the first year general construction carpenter, and that's going to take money out of your pocket. And you don't get paid for the classes that you take, because you already gotten paid for all the flooring classes that you have taken. So there is a possibility, but the earlier you do that, the better it is going to be for anybody that comes through. That's a good question. So
I believe you answered this question. Sorry, my question is about the application period for pre-apprenticeship. How many times is it offered throughout the year?
That's once a year.
Oh, it's once a year.
Yeah, once a year. And again, you have to either call our office here early spring. The best thing to do is go to our website. You go to the website, www.shicap.org, and we'll put the date on there, but you really have to monitor it early spring and maybe a little bit before that. So you do catch that 30-day window. It's only 30 days that we open up for anybody to come here and apply.
Victor, I have a question about employment after the 4-year apprenticeship program. So what's that process like? Are the apprenticeship graduates hired by then a local union or an independent contractor? And is there like an interview process? How does that work?
Is this after the 4 years or after the pre-apprenticeship?
Yeah, after the 4 years, after the full apprenticeship program.
Okay, it's basically the same thing if you come out of the pre-apprenticeship or if you finish your 4-year apprenticeship and you become journeyman. There is a little bit of a difference. So let me kind of explain. When you come out of the pre-apprenticeship, throughout the 9 weeks, we not only talk about, we not only teach apprentices how to become a carpenter, we also go over resumes, how to interview correctly, how to communicate with somebody that's interviewing you, whether it's on the phone, virtually, or in person. And we also talk about how to network in order to get work. So it's a 50-50 effort. It's actually an effort from the apprentice going out, the school here at the training center, and the local they belong to. That's an effort for all three. And we talk about how to network, how to go to the local meetings. Every time we hold a meeting, every local holds a meeting once a month. They go to the local meetings, talk to their business agents. They can talk to other apprentices. They can talk to journeymen. They go to the locals, and then they network, and they might get a lead for work. They do apply. Again, we talk about how to put a good resume together, and we give them a list of contractors, and then we show them how to apply because they're asking for resumes now. You have to put a good resume together.
Yep.
And also coming to school every quarter. They're in class with other students. They can have 15 to 20 students in one class, and they can also kind of network with the students, showcase what they have with the with all the instructors, because this is a tough trade, man. They want the strongest, the fastest, and the sharpest. That's really what it boils down to, and a lot of people come through this and they don't, the contractors, they just don't keep people around too long because they just can't put up with some of the things that these young people, the bad habits and the things that they're not showing up on time and things like that. And then it's hard for them to get that good apprentice. And believe me when I'm telling you, when they get that good apprentice and they know that they're going to be teachable, they're going to keep you working as long as they can, because now they're going to mold you and hopefully teach you how to become a good journeyman and then groom you to become one of their foremen, maybe superintendents. So that's the whole goal, but that takes effort from every individual that comes to the school here.
Thank you. That was helpful. Yep.
Yeah. So again, that's an effort from the local, the apprentice coming out of the pre-apprenticeship in our school. Now, once you become a journeyman, and I tell this again to all the apprentices that come through here, your job is by the time you turn 3rd year or 4th year, you have to find a home or two. So that means that you have to be one of the best workers out there, that you're going to stand out, that company is going to say, hey, I'm going to call you back as soon as we got work, because our trade, you will sit for a little bit, you will get laid off. If you get laid off, they're calling you right back, or they're not going to lay you off because they don't want to let you go. That's finding a home, and you're always going to be working. Now, by the time you turn journeyman, and if you're struggling to keep working, looking for work and you're not working, you're working, you get laid off, that means that you didn't do your part going through the apprenticeship to get to the point where you're going to be one of the standouts. You have to be a standout. So when you become a journeyman, you stay employed. You got 2 or 3 different companies calling you for work. That's what you really want. But the locals, again, if you're out of work when you become journeyman, the locals help you get work. You know, it's up to the individual to get work. That's how it works once you become a journeyman.
Thank you. That was helpful.
Sure thing. So this is our website here. You all see that, right? Yes?
Yes.
You see the website? Okay, so again, www.shicap.org, click on apprentice program, and then you have introduction training program, and you know, you have all kinds of different information. And that's the thing that I bang my head sometimes that people just don't want to read. They just want to know, how do I apply? What kind of money are you going to be making? And what's your benefits? And it's all they want to know. But they don't really take the time to research, and it's all here. It's all here about the training program, the different curriculums. And then if I there's qualifications of how to get in. There's information about veterans. So there's all kinds of different information here on the website that you know, you just have to research. If you click on there, we got videos, we got tutorials, we got interviews with apprentices that talk about being in the apprenticeship. And you know, it's a life changer for a lot of these apprentices that come through, because you know, they're not going to be making this kind of money without a degree anywhere else. You know what I mean? But they stay working for a reason, because they're hard workers and they know what it takes to stay working as a carpenter. There's even a math for the trades that'll help you. If you go to Khan Academy, that's a website. We even have an apprentice applicant math study guide that'll help you on the different math that you need in order to pass the aptitude tests. So, I mean, it's all here for everybody to look at and to research. But again, they just want the fast route in. And before you know it, you know, they end up dropping out because they don't research enough and they don't really read our website. All right. I also want to show you, we do have a YouTube channel, Carpenters 1256. Okay, Carpenters 1256. That's our YouTube channel. And there's a handful of either interviews with instructors, interviews with apprentices, and some of the projects that we put together with apprentices. But I want you to take a look at this video here. It's called PA Morning Training. And that's the physical training that we do. So that's some of the things that we do every morning. We do that for 9 weeks. And believe me, some of these people that come through here, some of the pre-apprentices, the last class they got out, guy lost 21 pounds. And then, you know, they're ecstatic about how stronger they got. Their stamina's better. And they're sweating every single day in that class. They're sweating and they're hurting. The first week, you're going to be sore. You know, but if you go here and watch what we do and take a look at some of this video, especially this workout video, and just prep yourself, you know, and then you'll last, you'll make it through the pre-apprenticeship, and hopefully you make this a career. Anybody have any other questions? I know I've seen how many people are accepted each year into the pre-apprenticeship program, assuming they pass the math exam. Increased chances being accepted into the program. Anybody that applies to the apprenticeship has a chance to make it. This year, 900 people apply for the apprenticeship. So 900 people, if they decide to actually go forward with it, have a chance to take the test and get accepted. And there's really not anything else you can increase to increase your chance to being accepted into the program. You know, it's not that you get accepted. You just have to go, you just have to apply, pass the aptitude test, and then you're accepted. You just have to wait now to get called in to start your pre-apprenticeship. That's really how it all works.
I have one more question. How is it decided what local you belong to? Is it by your home address or the location of your employer?
Yeah, typically is where you live. So anywhere where you live, there's a certain local that has jurisdiction over that area. So they do try to put you with a local around where you live, typically. Now, before that, you needed a letter of recommendation from a local. So any local that sponsored you in, that would be your local you would belong to coming out of your pre-apprenticeship. But now, now we waive that. So now they actually go by addresses and things like that. Any more questions? I want to thank you all for joining the Apprenticeship Open House. And if you really decide that this is for you, get ready. Just be ready. Be ready coming in here mentally. I was an instructor before I started doing this in the office here, and I started working here in 2003. And the people that appreciate what we do here and really buy into the system, and they still call me once in a while. And I'm talking about people that I had in 2003. Now, they're journeymen. They started off right out of high school. They had a family. They got married. They got their pension is building up. They got a chunk of change in their annuity. And some are foremen. Some are superintendents. I do want to also, I know that there's got to be women listening to this. I can just kind of tell by the names that I'm looking at. The contractor wants somebody that is going to be dependable, hardworking all the time. All right. They don't care the color of your skin. They don't care if you're short, tall, skinny, round, yellow, brown. It doesn't matter. They just want somebody that's going to be hardworking, male, female. So I've had a handful of women that came through the pre-apprenticeship, and I'm not lying to you, they outworked some of the guys that came through the pre-apprenticeship. And some of these females, they come in here with a purpose. All right. So if there's any females that are out there listening to me, and if they're kind of iffy about getting in, if you want it, it's here for you. We welcome anybody that's willing to work hard for this, as long as you dedicate yourself 120%, and the sky's the limit. Okay. All right. So I think there's no more questions. Again, I want to thank you all for joining us. And again, look out for that date on the website. And I put the website on the, I see a
another
question.
question in chat.
Aside from the enrollment period being in early spring, will the website be the main way to enroll? Yeah, I think so. I think I think so. You have to check the website. You can call our office here at our training center, and our number is on the website. If you, that's another way you can. But I think the easiest way is just stay on top of that website every once in a while, go on there early spring.